Hello, everybody. It's Newsday. We've got the journal for Friday, April 11, 2025. Big headline: Representative Glenn Thompson is still hiding from his constituents. He will not come out and answer, won't have any town halls because he knows he can't defend himself. Oh, and it looks like we have an extra question for Glenn Thompson this week. Hey, Glenn, have you made money off of the White House's stock manipulation? Or are you just ignoring the fact that a bunch of your colleagues have? Isn't it funny how the day before the tariffs were announced, the Trump family reportedly dumped $1.5 billion worth of stock? And now we hear a bunch of congressmen did the same. And then after the stock market bottomed out and the tariffs were put on pause, Trump actually stood in the Oval Office and bragged about his rich friends making a lot of money off the stock market. And we're hearing about congressmen who did the same. Isn't it great when you know the stock market's going to go back up that you have a little prior information of that and you go back in and buy while everything's cheap? Yeah, that's all right here. Um, Now let's move on to the things that the journal thinks is important. This says, this land is my land, this land is your land, but who owns the trees? Logging continues along Route 504 in preparation for the solar thing. Still talking about that. Uh, Big fish contest takes place at Coldstream for good cause. Let's see if we can see what the fighting team, hmm, uplifting outdoors, big fish contest to support Camo Cares, a group who aims to send cancer warriors on their dream hunts. Okay, that sounds cool. Paragon Ragtime Orchestra returns to the Roland Theater to be featured on a PBS documentary. We've got a picture of that if you can see. I think maybe that's the deal where they brought in live band to play along with the silent movie. Lost and Found: How a Local Man Was Reunited with His Red-Tailed Hawk. There's a picture of Fran Gray and his rare red-tailed hawk. If you want to know the story of that, find yourself a journal. It's a well, big continuation to the other stories. Okay, obituaries. We got Judith and Judy Frank, who was born in 1948. We have Joan Marie Robbins, born in 1952. And we have a Patricia A. Patty Cotter Waldrick, born in 1931. Now, just in case they didn't have it in yet, I looked up another one for Heath's Funeral Home. A couple nights ago, we lost Russell Bush, 71, of Osceola, born July 26, 1953, son of the late Arthur and Eva Couture Bush, member of the United Methodist Church. He was also a life member of the Columbia Fire Company and Pennsylvania Central District Firemen's Association, member of the St. Anthony Society in Osceola, what we all know as the Lithuanian Club. He retired in the janitorial service in State College Presbyterian Church. He had worked at the Charles Navasky and Company In Phillipsburg, we worked for many years at the Osceola Brickyard until it closed. He was a 71 graduate of the PO High School, survived by three sons: Robert Bush of West Decatur, Aaron Bush of West Decatur, and Benjamin Bush and his wife Beth of Osceola, a brother Gerald Bush and his wife Beverly of Osceola, two grandchildren Serenity and Bella, a niece Melissa Cortezo and her husband Jason, and a nephew David Bush. Funeral will be Tuesday, April 15th at 11 a.m. at Heath's Burial and Umbria Cemetery. The visitation on Monday. Memorial contributions can be made to Heath's. And if you think it's unusual for me to spend so much time on an obituary, you're right. But what they didn't say in there, they said he was a life member of the fire company, but he dedicated himself to that fire company for many years, all his life basically. His father had been chief. Russell held various offices in the fire company, and I'm not sure exactly for how long, but for decades, he was the parade chairman of the 4th of July parade. And as far as I can tell, he was pretty universally liked, dedicated to his community. So he will be missed. And now we will move on. We have police report. Kicking and spitting. Samantha Cruz, 38 of Mooresdale, was charged with disorderly conduct after kicking a car door and spitting on the car door window. And Kellertown, okay, turned without looking. William Dunlap, 52 of Morrisdale, was driving his Kia Sorento on 53 in Morris Township. He made a left turn into a driveway and drove into the path of a GMC Yukon driven by Scott Miller, 55 of Morrisdale. There were no injuries. Is there anything he didn't hit? Matthew Whitmer, 22 of Osceola, was driving a Dodge 1500 south on Route 504 in Union Township with two passengers, an 8-month-old baby boy, and Thomas Ballantyne, 22 of Osceola. Whitmer went off the road, hit a mailbox, came back on the road, crossed the center line, went back off the road, hit a pole, and went back towards the road and drove on the berm parallel to the roadway and struck a support wire for a utility pole. Then he hit an abandoned house, coming to a final rest in the abandoned structure. Yeah. Hit an abandoned house, coming to a final rest in the abandoned structure. No one was injured, but the baby was transported to the medical center after it was determined his car seat was not installed correctly. He was charged with driving at an unsafe speed. That's all. Eastbound and down, a 56-year-old man from Belcamp, Maryland. The hell they doing letting people from Maryland into Pennsylvania? Being investigated by state police as suspicious person near the GO prison. He then fled the scene, traveling eastbound at a high rate of speed on Route 322, lost control at Laurel Street in Phillipsburg Borough in an impacted property belonging to Phillipsburg Borough, PennDOT, the U.S. Post Office, and a private residence. The operator was taken into custody and charged with DUI. Flipped her MKZ. Stacy Ostrowski, 56 of Munson, was driving her Lincoln MKZ north on Hardscrabble Road in Morris Township Near the intersection of Schoolhouse Road, when she went across the center line, she attempted to correct the vehicle but flipped it over. In the course of doing so, through investigation, it was determined that Ostrowski was under the influence of alcohol. He was not injured but was charged with DUI. DUI on Allport Cutoff. Dean Rocky, 70, of Osceola, was arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol on the 3400 block of Allport Cutoff in Grand Township. And when you're 70, you should know better. Southie fight. Nicholas Kennedy, 44, Phillipsburg, and Robert Riggleman, 44, Phillipsburg, were charged with harassment after altercation with Lynn Bean, 59, of Osceola, at 114 B Street in Rush Township. Gun gone missing. Got a lot of police reports this week. A PPK 380 handgun was stolen from 970 State Street in Rush Township. Anyone with information, call the cops. Should have gone on the Lamb, and Lamb has B in parentheses. PSB Clearfield investigated an incident of domestic violence on Morrisdale Allport Highway, Morris Township. According to police report, William Lamb, 34, of Morrisdale, struck a 31-year-old Morrisdale woman in the face when she attempted to flee to the neighbor's house. Lamb followed her and attempted to drag her back outside. Lamb was charged with numerous charges. Need to pause for a second? Okay. Drywall litterers. Jeff Yarger, 55, of Hotstell, reported that someone threw pieces of drywall on his property located off Cove Run Road in Decatur. Anyone with information, please contact the police. Let's see. Got the honor roll way too long to read that stuff. Come on, pages. And we got a bunch of obituaries. There's Memory Lane. Parishioners gather outside the Nittany Oil office building on Front Street to prepare for a holy walk on Good Friday in 1983. That's their Memory Lane. Oh, I didn't notice on the front page, you got a Star of the Week. Garrett Bloom. Garrett Bloom won Adult Biggest Fish. Okay. Now I'll show you a picture of Garrett Bloom apparently holding his big fish. And that's it for this week. Thanks for stopping in, Nerdy and Howard. And I'll just again mention my condolences to Russell's family. We'll see y'all later.
And that's the way it is.